What's up, guys? I'm here with my UNPL round 2 of playoffs match versus Emerald Miner and his DeMewlition Force. Make sure you guys check him out in the description down below and all the other coaches in the description down below. Now, I forgot to hit recording until, or I forgot to hit the record button until right when the battle was starting. But before we do get into that, guys, make sure you guys do hit the subscribe button. I'm at like 530. It would mean the world to me, guys, if you guys would hit that subscribe button. Also hit like and comment down below what you've thought about this season so far. We're in round 2 of playoffs, though. I'll pop the matchup up at the beginning of the video. It's probably still going on right now. But yeah, I did decide to bring some pretty cool stuff. We are WinCon, urshifu-rapid with Trailblaze, Surging Strike, CC, Poison Jab. We have an AV Azumarill. We have an AV Ursaluna Blood Moon. We have a Swordsdance, Crunch, and Gunk Shot Agility Overquill, because we brought that because we did not think that my opponent would bring Bisharp and the Ting-Lu, but he did decide to bring both. And then we also have a Choice Scarf Cleavor, and then we have a Terra Ghost Lefties Stealth Rock Spikes Wrap Body Press set from our Orthworm. We decided to bring this set because I could wrap on Amon, like I believe it was going to be on the Bisharp, because they could not Bisharp. That was if I didn't Terastallize, if I hadn't Terastallized yet. But I could wrap on a Pheasantipity, or I could even do it on Mew, depending on its set. But yeah, we're just gonna get rocks up because the whole plan was to get up as many hazards as we could for this match, because we get hazards up and then from there we can kind of chip everything down just by that chip my opponent's walls down, because they did bring urshifu-rapid-strike, Mew, Iron Leaves, Bisharp, Ting-Lu, and Terra Noivern, and the Noivern can be Terra Steel, Normal, and I believe Flying. So like I said, go look at Fun to Emerald Miner. He's a great battler. Make sure you guys check him out in the comment or in the description down below. Sorry if I sound like I'm rambling. I'm just trying to catch up. We can finally start talking about the match. But yeah, I clicked Rocks turn 1 on this Mew, and here I'm deciding what I want to do, because this Mew could very, very much so fuck me up. And I'm gonna probably go hard Cleavor, because unless they click like Psychic, obviously is gonna do a lot, but it could not OHKO me. Then I can in return click U-turn. But I am just going to be able to go into my Cleavor and do a shitload of damage to whatever wants to come in. And they do get their rocks up, which is fine by me. And which rocks do suck because I don't have boots on a singular. I have boots on my Overquill, but that is it. Excuse me. But at this point, I can just click U-turn, because in my head, there's no shot they switch in or they stay in, even if they're like physically defensive. And we see that they stay in, and we don't even do half. So that is a max HP, max defense, like bold or impish, whatever, Mew. So at this point, I really don't have a switch into this. But my best option, in my opinion, is like, okay, I'm Assault Vest on Azumarill, Assault Vest on the Ursaluna Blood Moon. If they are a special set, then that is my best bet. I could also go into my Overquill, which would have probably been the move, because then if they decided to stay in, I could then crunch. But I didn't want to put myself in a bad position for it. They could just easily go Ting-Lu, and then I'd have to make a double to do that, like if I was to go Overquill. Or they could easily go into the Bisharp. I would have had to make a hard double into my urshifu-rapid-strike. So at this point, I'm going to go into Blood Moon, because I can really eat any hit and take on this Mew fine, like pretty easily. And I go into Matt Turner. Excuse me, I have not felt well these past couple of days, guys, so if I do cough a couple of times, I do apologize. But he does click Flip Turn, which caught me off guard, but like, it is a fine Mew set. Like, Stealth Rock Flip Turn is really good into my team. So at this point, my opponent can go into a lot of things, and they decide to go into their own urshifu-rapid-strike. So very scary. I absolutely hate playing the same mons that I have, but that's what happens when you have a lot of coaches. Like, we have cross divisions for playoffs, so not much you can do about that. But either way, I go to Azumarill here, and this is like my soft check to this, because you see they click Surging Strikes, and they're not gonna do that much damage to us. But at this point, I'm like, there's no shot that my opponent can risk that I'm Kebia Berry. Because if I'm Kebia Berry, then I knock this Pokemon out with Play Rough. Like, and if they're banded, that wasn't banded damage, but they could have been like Adamant Scarf or something, I think is what I was calcing, I believe. But at this point, I have a switch in. I can just go Orthworm because I haven't Terastallized yet, and I'll be immune. And then at that point, I can Terastallize. So I'm going to click Play Rough here because in my head, I really did not think they would click Poison Jab because I could be Kebia Berry. If I sent this thing in that easily, I could easily be Kebia Berry. But I almost was. And they clicked Poison Jab, and you're going to see I'm just going to throw my Azumarill away. So good play on my opponent's part because I definitely should not have done that. I should have probably just went to Overquill and Intimid, and then at that point, go, or even go Orthworm because there's no shot they CC there, so Orthworm was probably the move, but you live and you learn, guys, and I'm not learning, but at this point, I know they are not Scarf, so I can go into Cleavor and do a lot of damage. I can go into my own Urshifu and just start clicking Trailblaze and do a lot of damage because the Trailblaze, then I can get a speed boost and then I can CC and pick up the KO on this Urshifu. And I did run max speed Jolly, so it would be a speed tie if they ran the same thing. So if I win the speed tie, that is good for me. And I feel like I was willing to risk that, so I believe that's what I do here. The smart thing though probably would have been to go into my Orthworm and Terastallize and then click Spikes, but if they started clicking Swords Dance, then it could have got pretty dicey at that point. So I do go into my Urshifu, the Pulisic, the captain, and I really need to just start omitting as much pressure as I can because if I can start to whittle down, like if I can take this Urshifu out, then like obviously my opponent has a lot of different Pokemon that can do a lot of damage. Like obviously this Mew is a defensive set, but they have Tinglu still, which at this point, like looking at my opponent's team, it is very weak to urshifu-rapid-strike, very weak. The Iron Leaves obviously. I mean, I have Poison Jab, so with a Stealth Rock up, I don't believe I can take him out. I need a little bit more damage. But still, that is fine. I can click Trailblaze here on whenever wants to come in and do a lot of damage. And if that Noivern is not heavy-duty boots, they will be taking Stealth Rock's damage. So at that point, I can just even click an attacking move on it and do a whole lot of damage. But my opponent's taking some time here. And I am going to get this Trailblaze off on, we will see, in 3, 2, 1, Frank, which Frank is going to be the Mew. So we're going to be able to see how much damage we do and to kind of confirm that they are max HP, max defense. And I really wish I could have clicked Trailblaze again to try to outspeed a Scarfer, like a Scarf, Noivern, I mean. But at this point, I can just click Surging Strikes and pick up a KO on something because even if they go into Iron Leaves, or also outspeed, booster speed Iron Leaves, that's what I was going to say. But I haven't clicked Surging Strikes here because if they go Iron Leaves, Rocks plus Surging Strikes is going to do a lot because I am an urshifu-rapid-strike. But we are going to take out the Mew. So Mew is gone. We are taking the, what is it, the kill initiative first. But Urshifu is going to be putting in a lot of damage. And if they don't go into Iron Leaves here, then it's looking pretty good. But they do go into Agent Leaves immediately, and this has to be booster speed. It has to be booster speed. And even if they didn't show booster speed, I would not stand because it could have been Choice Scarf. And obviously we see the booster energy proc, and it is going to be speed. So now I realize I did not prep that well for this Pokemon, and my Overquill can obviously always check it. That was my main thing. And if I get my Terra off on Orthworm, I can do a lot of damage. I definitely should have been like a Heavy Slam variant, but I didn't really think this Pokemon could do that much damage to me. Like I didn't really feel the need to do that. Like I could just wrap and then click wrap and then what was I gonna say? I could click wrap and then spike stack on it if I really wanted to, but we are just gonna go with it, I guess, because Iron Leaves, I mean, I feel like it didn't do amazingly into my team, but then after the fact, the team that I brought, like, I brought Pulisic, the urshifu-rapid-strike, McKinney, the Azumarill, and then Matt Turner, the Blood Moon, that are all weak to it. Geo Reyna, my Cleavor, doesn't like to take hits from it. Like, I definitely could have brought a different team. They just could Leaf Blade and do negligible damage, because Overquill is goated. It is Joverquill. I love this guy. And I'm just gonna double immediately into my urshifu-rapid-strike, because at this point, like, their switch-in is obviously going to be the Bisharp or Tinglu, and urshifu-rapid-strike is my best way to deal with them. I should not have let my Azumarill get down so low, because I probably would have went Azu instead here, but I feel like urshifu-rapid-strike also just kind of checks the Bisharp more, so I probably would have always went into my urshifu-rapid-strike regardless. I was debating on going into Orthworm, calling those Pokemon, so then I can wrap and then spike stack. But if they decide to go into Tinglu, then they can also just spike stack me. so not really worth it at that point. But they go into Benny, which is going to be the Bisharp. So I make an amazing double here, because it is going to put me in such a good spot, really good spot, because now I can play some mind games. So obviously they're not going to stay in with their Bisharp, because if they let the Bisharp go down, then Overquill can go crazy minus the Tinglu. So like obviously the Tinglu being around still sucks, but I have a whole urshifu-rapid-strike that can deal with Tinglu, and I also have a Blood Moon that can do some damage, and also have Cleavor. So not too worried if about that. Like Overquill can really put in damage, or put in the work, if this Bisharp goes down. So at this point I'm debating on what I want to do, if I want to click Trailblaze here, seeing what they switch into, because if they switch into the Iron Leaves, then at that point I can CC or P-Jab after, and go from there. But we see that my opponent decides to go hard into the Bitey, which is going to be Noivern. Yeah, Noivern, which this is my opponent's Terra Captain. So didn't really want to risk anything, because I don't know if they are I see that they are Boots because they didn't take rocks, but I didn't have Ice Punch, and this is their Terra Captain with normal, steel, and flying. And Terra flying into my team made a whole lot of sense. Because I did not have a switch into it. Like a Specs Terra flying just did so much damage to me. Even non-Specs with Terra flying did so much damage to me. Flying types do so much damage into this team regardless. Like you all saw that when I played Flygon, like it was so hard for me to deal with the Kilowattrel, and then if they also brought Hawlucha, it was kind of a problem. But I really do not have a switch into this, so I just have to go with the flow and hope I can eat a hit, because in my mind this is going to be Terra flying, and I'm going to see a Hurricane come off. So I am just gonna go. I believe I go into the Orthworm. Yeah, I go into the Orthworm here, because I haven't Terastallized yet, so I do resist flying still. I said steel. I still resist flying, and we see my opponent is going to Terastallize and probably do 1,000,000% with this regardless, because I was no Spadef, and we see Terra Steel. Which had me very confused, because if I would have called that to click CC, I mean, good play on my opponent's part, because they called me not doing that. But if I click CC there, then they died, and I'm pretty sure I won the game with my urshifu-rapid-strike. I mean, obviously they go into their urshifu-rapid-strike, and I didn't kill, but like at that point, urshifu-rapid-strike beat everything else. Once I got a Trailblaze off, of course, because Iron Leaves. So that play had me very baffled, because I did not expect it at all. It doesn't mean it was a bad play. It was a very good play on my opponent's part. They Terra Steeled, calling me to Ice Punch probably, but in my head, I didn't have Ice Punch, and I mean they didn't know that obviously, and they brought Terra Steel for that reason. But now they are weak to fighting. So if I can get a Trailblaze off, then we can kill that Pokemon pretty easly. And they are going to click U-turn here, because they clicked Draco prior, and they are -2 special attack now. So at this point, I think I can't remember what I just clicked. I think I clicked Spikes there. They go into Death, which is going to be their Tinglu. I think I clicked Wrap. I think I just wanted to show off the not clicked Body Press to get damage off on that, which that did a whole lot of damage. It did a lot more damage than I expected. I was like, okay, well, we take those. Kind of wish I was like a curse set, but like at this point, this Pokemon can't do anything to me other than get spikes up of their own, which I should probably spike stack as well and just out hazard them, because I have or we both have rocks up, so at that point it would be the same. But I believe I just click Body Press, because I can now kill this thing in 3 hits probably. So they click Spikes, so there's a chance they can get another layer of spikes up, which would suck, but that's okay. I'm glad I didn't try to spike stack, because my Cleavor would have just been so low, and then even my Ursula Blood Moon, my Overquill was heavy duty boots, but then my urshifu-rapid-strike would also be pretty low. But we do kill with the Body Press. It is going to be a crit, which I don't think crit mattered. I think it may have been a roll anyways, but I think it was a roll in my favor. It was pretty close regardless. Crit just kind of just gave me the kill there without it being a roll. But yeah, it's not looking too shabby for us at this point, but we still really have to like try to deal with their own urshifu-rapid-strike, and then we also need to try to deal with their iron leaves because my team is heavily weak to the iron leaves. Once my overquill goes down, I don't really know how I can deal with that Pokemon because even if I tear a ghost, like, it's fine. Like, at this point, he goes into this, and this is where I wish I was heavy slam, guys, because this Pokemon can just, like, Swords Dance up on me. It can attack me for a lot. And here I'm going to make a misplay because I can just always go into my overquill, and I don't know why I did not. I really wanted to show off the Wrap Tech for some reason because I was like, maybe they click Substitute or something, or maybe they, I don't know. I don't know why I clicked this move, to be completely frank. My name's not Frank, it's Owen. I kind of was just expecting them to attack me. I really don't know. It was kind of a very big misplay because I still had overquill around. I could have easily just went overquill, and my opponent is just gonna click Swords Dance, which, like, that's what I'm saying. If I went overquill, I just completely, this whole sequence would have not happened, and I would have still had my Ortham around because I don't think the Iron Leaves could have done any damage to my overquill. So would have been a little different of a sequence here. But I just clicked Wrap because I wanted to show off the tech, and it does nothing for me. Even if I would have clicked Spikes there, I could have gotten another layer of spikes up. Instead, I'm only going to be able to get one layer of spike up. So very, very big misplay on my part. I should have just went overquill when it was literally my known check to this Pokemon. So but like I said earlier, you're living to learn. Let's see if I learn, because I'm living, but I don't know if I'm learning anything. But I just like the Wrap Tech, like the wrap animation. That shit looks cool. But yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna try to get another layer of spikes up for shits and giggles. But it doesn't really matter. And at this point, the only thing I can go into is my Cleavor, because I mean, I can go into Overquill actually, but Cleavor outspeeds, but I really should not make it take rocks damage and a spike yet when I have a heavy duty boots Overquill. And I should have went into that in the first place, because if I went, that was my dedicated check to this. I need to stop trying to make dumb plays, because if I like just stick to my checks, then the matches can go a lot smoother. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I brought Overquill specifically because it can check Iron Leaves, and then if they don't bring Bisharp or Tinglu, then it can win me the game with this agility set. So yeah, I should have went into it, and I should have went into it now. But I feel like Cleavor just kind of gave me better positioning, because even if they go into their Noivern, I get this U-turn off, and then at that point, I can go probably into Blood Moon, and then kill it, because I didn't bring CC on my Cleavor, so I brought Dual Wing Beat for the urshifu-rapid-strike, because it did like over 50%. So yeah, we're going to take rocks and spikes here, which is not very good. I should have definitely went into my Overquill. Should have 100% went into my Overquill, so we could have tried to negate this. And I probably would have even doubled back into my Urshifu calling to Bisharp. I probably would have doubled again, to be honest. But that's another, that's a, like a coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know what I mean? I don't know if they would have switched. It could have been, it would have been a completely different game though, than what you're seeing now. But I am just gonna click U-turn here because I click X Scissor. Okay, I lied. I clicked X Scissor. I clicked X Scissor because it did over half to like Bisharp, and I thought I could 2-hit KO this Noivern. So that's what it was. I was like, I can do a whole lot of damage, and I didn't want to click U-turn and then have to switch out, and then it'd be a whole ordeal. I click X Scissor, and I do a lot of damage. I do about 45%, and like I'm trying to calc stuff at this point to see if there, for some reason, it's a roll to kill. But like, there's no universe where I can ever knock this Pokemon out. So, I don't even, like, I was trying my hardest to try to justify this roll just to like kill this guy. But either way, it's fine. I can now go into Overquill, which is it's my only mon that I'm gonna go into, because I want to keep Blood Moon around for that Bisharp. But I should have went into this Overquill so much sooner against that Iron Leaves. When you go back and you watch how you play, it's very aggravating to watch yourself make misplays. Like, I let this Cleavor take so much rocks and spikes chip for no reason. And I could have went to Overquill in the first place both times on that Iron Leaves, on both times, but I I go into this now, and at this point, Tyler Adams over Quill, you're just going to kind of be a sack beast because this Noivern is going to be able to 2-hit KO you with Draco. But, which that did 1,000,000%. That did 1,000,000%. Did a lot more than I expected when I did calcs. I was kind of confused on how it did that much. But at this point, I'm trying to debate if I want to go Hardened or Urshifu now, because I'm trying to calc if, like, for a Hurricane, like, I'm like, dude, what if I just go, if I go Urshifu now, can I live a Draco from -2 into a Hurricane from -3 or -4, whatever it was, because after it clicks Draco twice, you get what I'm saying, and I could not. So, but I could live a Hurricane from -3, from the health I was at if I didn't take a Draco. So, and then at that point, I could then click Trailblaze and then trade the speed boost. And they do just like decide to click Draco, so which is fine. I'm gonna just throw my Overcool away though. Whenever it was my only check to Iron Leaves, and now I can lose to Iron Leaves very easily. I obviously I have a Scarf Cleavemore and I have Urshifu, but I cannot let the other Urshifu win this game as well. So excuse me. Debating here what to do, because if I had CC, I could have just went into my Cleavemore and clicked CC, but I did not have CC, because I mean they could have went into their Iron Leaves, but then Iron Leaves is at 50% and it takes rocks and a layer of spikes and CC, so I'm pretty sure I could have 2-hit KO'd that thing. And I feel like they couldn't go Iron Leaves hard onto that. I mean, like, obviously they probably could have, knowing I'm Scarf and I had to click that, but I go into Pulisic now, and I'm put in a really tough position because now I have to click Trailblaze, and I still think I have a chance to win because I thought their Urshifu-Rapid was a little bit lower, and I thought I did a lot more damage with my CC than what I actually did. And I'm looking, and I looked to see their mons. I did not even realize Iron Leaves was still there, by the way. So I really forgot that Pokemon was still alive. They click Hurricane, and obviously Hurricane Miss would have been very nice there, but we've gotten lucky with my opponents missing in the past, so missing Hurricane specifically, and we don't get that miss when we really needed it, because then I could have clicked Trailblaze, or then I wouldn't have taken damage, so then it would have been in a whole lot better spot, because then I don't think their urshifu-rapid-strike could take me out, depending on, you know, defense strat, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like, it would have been nice, because then I could have clicked like, it would have been a little different, but either way, at this point now I'm trying to think what to do, but like I just attack what's in front of me because they haven't revealed any Scarfers or anything, and if they are, or they're not Scarf Urshifu because they switched moves earlier, they lost their booster speed with the Iron Leaves, so there's no point in really clicking it again, and I am going to kill this Noivern. So our Urshifu-Rapid-Strike putting in work so far. All that is left is Iron Leaves and the Urshifu-Rapid-Strike though, so it's looking like their Urshifu-Rapid-Strike can live a hit unless I get a crit, and then they can kill me, and then at that point I don't really know what I would do. That was kind of my thought process. So yeah, they go into this and I'm like, well, shit, that is at a lot more HP than I thought it would be at. I thought this mon was at like 75, and then it would take rocks and spikes. But there's like no universe I kill this thing unless I get a crit. So they also still have Bisharp alive. I forgot about that. They have Bisharp, Urshifu-Rapid-Strike, and Iron. But yeah, I saw they had 3 mons left, and I was like, oh shit, they have the Iron Leaf still around too. I don't know how I forgot about it, but excuse me. At this point, I'm trying to think what to do. If I should switch out and keep Urshifu-Rapid-Strike alive to try to take on Cleavemore, or try to take on their Bisharp, but I still have my Blood Moon. But yeah, I click CC here, and you see we do not do enough. Crit would have been so clutch there, but we do not get it, and our opponent is going to take us out with Surging Strikes. So obviously, if that would have been a Trailblaze, then we would have lost the game, because Cleavemore gets outsped, and then also our whatchamacallit gets outsped. Actually, we have Vacuum Wave, so we have Vacuum Wave on our Blood Moon, so it didn't really matter, actually. But I should have went into my Blood Moon then. I should have went into my Blood Moon then. I forgot I had Vacuum Wave and clicked Vacuum Wave because that would have been the play, because they obviously wouldn't have aqua jetted on the Blood Moon. And then at that point, they go into Iron Leaves. I probably just let them kill me, and then I go into my Cleavor, and then at that point though, I lose the game regardless, because I cannot kill the Bisharp with an X-Scissor, 1X Scissor. I mean, let me look at a damage calc real quick. I think if I had CC, which I did not have, so this, I mean, like, this is all hypothetical because I did not have CC. But I'm just trying to see, like, this is probably the only way I would have won. Just like misplays on misplays. So like with stealth rocks on a spike up, like it didn't matter. I would have had to get an X-Scissor crit on the Bisharp, but I definitely should have went into my Ursaluna Blood Moon here and clicked Vacuum Wave instead of sacking off my Cleavor, because I would have been put in such a better position to even try to win, because X-Scissor is a high crit move. But I did make the play. I made a bad play, so not putting myself in optimal positioning really sucked. And at this point, the Iron Leaves is obviously going to take a Stealth Rock and a Spike, but it is going to be out of range of the Vacuum Wave because it's at like 30%. So Vacuum Wave is going to literally do no damage. But yeah, we are going to lose, so we are not going to advance in the UNPL playoffs. It has been a great season so far. I want to say thank you to all the commissioners, and shout out to Danny, you know, the boy, for letting me take over his team after week 2. We obviously made drastic changes when we picked up the team, and then also after week 7 we made a bunch of changes. But I really enjoyed this team. It was really fun to use. But if you guys did enjoy this season, leave a comment down below and tell me what your favorite mon that I used was. And yeah, this can be for this video, guys. Good luck to Emerald Miner and the rest of the playoffs. And yeah, I will catch you guys later.